Oh, we going?
And we're live. Sorry. Hey guys, welcome to The Trade, episode 32, interview with Abaddon of Kill 6 Billion Demons. Yay! All the demons! Yay! I am your host, Melony of ornamentalcomic.com. Co-hosting today is Jamie D. Gailey of
JamieDGailey.com.
DGailey.com. Yeah.
Just Google it. It's cool.
Yes, yes. So, Abaddon, currently you are in Japan. You are of the Japanese.
I am.
Especially,
See, look.
yes, yes.
You were saying earlier, can it be any more Japanese here? My current location. I'm also sitting on the floor on tatami mats. It's very exciting.
How long were you there?
I was there for 2 years. I guess I'm still here, but I'm leaving on Monday. Unfortunately. It's been very emotional the last 2 weeks. I've done a lot of drinking with a lot of old Japanese men, so it's been good.
You should do some little comics about your adventures there at some point.
I should. I should be like Mary Cagle. Have you read Mary Cagle's stuff?
Yes.
That's good. It's very good. She's a jet out here right now, actually. She came at the same time as me, I'm pretty sure. But she's over in Tohoku or something. That whole region.
Yeah, I think that was. Anyway, so you're making it back to the States right now.
I am.
And you're going to be settling up around Portland at some point?
Yeah, hopefully. Yep, absolutely.
Nice, nice. So Portland friends, please welcome him back and, make him feel at home,
Yeah.
Steal his shit,
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I will say if you guys are ever in the area or anything, let me know and I'm more than willing to hang out.
Sweet.
Absolutely. I know you're in New Mexico, right? So it might be quite a trek, but.
Yeah, I'm actually moving myself here in a couple more months to
excellent.
Houston.
Oh, okay, the other direction.
The other direction. That way. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
I'm in Los Angeles, so I can just take the 5 up there. It'd be real.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Oh.
I'll have to skip.
I lived in LA for 5 years.
Where'd you live?
I lived in over in the whole Westwood Santa Monica area. I went to school at UCLA.
Oh, okay. I live in more East Hollywood, Silver Lake area.
Yeah, it's nice, man. It's nice. LA is like the nicest city, surrounded by the worst city in the world.
Yeah. It goes from LA to Burbank real quick.
There's some nice stuff in there. It's just separated by miles and miles of strip malls and highways.
You can get if you're in LA, you can get to whatever you want within like an hour.
Yeah,
or you can take an hour to drive a mile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's quite silly. I used to live there, and I used to have friends who lived in Long Beach, and it took me 35 minutes by car and 2.5 hours by bus.
Yeah, we don't have a very good bus thing. They getting ready to have the subway all the way to the beach though from wherever.
Oh, really?
The train tracks have officially made it all the way there. Now they just need to build all the stations. Still another couple years, but that'll be nice just to be able to go down to Santa Monica Beach on the subway.
Yeah. There you are. Yeah, not too bad.
Very nice.
So Mel, do you have some questions set up?
Yeah, a little bit here. Okay.
Fire away.
Let's see. So, you're currently working on Kill 6 Billion Demons. Is there anything else you've been working on?
I am. So yeah, that's my primary occupation right now. But I have done a few other things. So I got some work in Profit with Image Comics, in Strike File 1 and 2, and in the 4th trade joining. I have 2 pages in there. So if you're
Who colored your work?
Myself.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay, because Joseph Bergen, who does a lot of the coloring on that book, I know him real good.
I do. Yeah, it's a great book, man.
And then early on, it was lettered by Ed Brisson from Vancouver, and he had to leave the book because now he's writing all sorts of stuff. But it was I love that book so much.
It's awesome, man. It's a great series. Yeah, it's very I don't know. It vibes a lot with me and my whole comics philosophy, and and so I was happy to get on it. So I got on that, and then also I should say I was on New World with Iron Circus, which is Spike Trotman's recent anthology. She's of Smut Peddler fame. Recently interviewed with by NPR actually, I think about.
Yeah, I just read that interview. It was really good.
That's legitimate news right there.
Yeah. Really great though. Really great, and a great creator. She's a big driving force behind a lot of sort of independent anthology work. So it was cool to get on that. I'm not. I think the work I put in was fairly quality, but I didn't like tone it or anything. It's just my like kind of janky lines, but the lines were quite nice. 9 pages, 9-page comic in there, and the rest of the book is really good. Some really good comics in there by a bunch of webcomic artists actually. Evan Dahmer's in there. The guys who do Saturday morning breakfast cereal are in there. No, or the oatmeal. I can't remember. One of the two.
It's either oatmeal or breakfast cereal, whatever.
One of the two, yeah. Some sort of breakfast.
Something in there. Breakfast items, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the two things I've done. Yeah, other than that, I haven't really had time for the projects. I'm working a full-time job over here. I guess. I should use the past tense. I was working a full-time job over here, a Japanese job, which can be quite silly. Every week, and then drawing this comic as well, which is quite time-consuming. And trying to be a regular human being, but wasn't always succeeding on 2 out of 3 of those things. So I didn't have much time.
How many hours a week were you doing working? Or what's full time in Japan?
Oh, like 40 hours. But like I don't
know what their work week is or anything.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even working a proper Japanese job because the Japanese school work environment is ridiculous. It's probably the most it's probably the silliest like overworked thing I've ever seen. Like the teachers get there at 7 in the morning. And then you go home. I go home at like 4:30, but on Mondays and Thursdays I go home at like 5:30, and I get there at 8. And sometimes I come back, and it's like 8 o'clock at night, and there's still people in the staff room. Because there's this huge work culture about it's rude to leave before your supervisor.
Not in America. We get out of there as quickly as possible.
I know, absolutely. In America, the bell rings, boom, you're done, you're gone, right? But the teachers stay there till usually till like 6:30, 7, and the kids stay there till 5 or 6 sometimes, studying and stuff.
I have 2 teenage sons, and sometimes my kids get home before school's out.
Oh yeah, totally different culture. So I occasionally have to do that. I occasionally like working the weekends and stuff. It's not too bad, but it is like it's like a full-time job. It's not a sort of a part-time thing. And then it takes me every week about 10 or 15 hours to do the comic contingent. So it was a bit weird just to like juggle that plus trying to be a regular human being.
What's that?
I know, right? Yeah.
White picket fence, cat, dog, 2 kids, wife.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah. It's quite weird. Sometimes there's some. If I was ever late in the comic or something, if I ever like delayed things, it's because I had to, juggle that with the regular stuff I was doing, and trying to not be a hermit.
You said that these comics are taking you about 10 to 15 hours. Is that for the single page?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. Is it all digital?
Yeah, it's all digital. Yeah.
All digital. Mega Studio, Photoshop. What are you doing this in?
Photoshop. I actually, my parents. I'll tell you a thing. My parents, when I was in high school, they bought me a copy of Manga Studio for Christmas once, and it was very well researched. It was very well intentioned of them, but I didn't realize it was actually good software.
It's Manga Studio rules.
Yeah. I was so used to Photoshop, and I saw, I'm so trained about this, like, the terribleness of, how to draw manga books and all that stuff, that when I saw it and I was looking at it, I was like, oh, this has, like, presets for speed lines and stuff. I don't want this crap.
Yeah,
I was like,
just
I'll stick with Photoshop, yeah. So yeah, I've been doing Photoshop for a while, which is alright, yeah, doing well. Yeah.
I just recently, 6 months ago, switched to digital. I was actually like halfway through a book and went from being very pro pen and ink to just full digital, and
Oh yeah, I'm a
it's so much easier. I went and bought the Cintiq 22 HD, and things fly by. It's easier to organize everything.
The big change for me drawing comics came from when I actually switched to digital, because I used to do traditional inking and stuff, and I don't think I've actually traditionally inked a comic page in over 3 years, 2 or 3 years. I used to do it, and I'd do the pencils, and the pencils would look great, and then I whack out my pens, and I start going with the pen. You have to draw the same thing again.
Yep.
Bastard! Why is that? Oh, it's just like a little. And it ruins your lines if you're not good at it. And I was kind of bad at traditional inking because, I like to be quite loose with my lines, and then I got these microns, but the microns don't flow very well. It's very scratchy, and then so it's like, my friend would be like, oh, use a nib pen, Tom. Use a nib pen, okay. I got the nib pen out, and it's like, but then it's got ink everywhere.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And then I got a brush. Try to brush pens and stuff. It just works too thick. Yeah, I just can't do it, and it's too much of a pain in the ass to get all that traditional stuff going. So finally, I switched to doing digital, and it's a real pain at first, because of course you have all this mismatch between your brain and what's going on with the pen and stuff. And originally my art was quite messy and awful. I'm going back through all the old stuff now, and I'm redrawing it. And not redrawing it, but I'm touching it up and coloring it and stuff, and it's just like you look at some of the line quality and you're like, oh my god, what's going on here? But gradually it's got better. It's actually quite noticeable. It's weird. I didn't think I'd improved over 2 years, strangely, but now I'm going back and actually going through my old art, it is unbelievable how much better my line quality is.
Heck, I noticed after the first 6 months of just constantly drawing every day, I was like, hey, I actually kind of look a little better. Yay!
Yeah. I've drawn a page almost every week for 2 years now. And,
nice.
That's good for practice, it turns out.
Yeah. Actually, I was just going through your archive on the way here from work, and I noticed your facial expressions got more extreme. They're better. They're better. You can definitely tell when somebody's happy, evil, sad, pissed off. So you've definitely gotten better at that. So good job.
Oh, thank you, sir.
That was my attempt at a compliment.
Oh yeah. I used to not think of. I was like, oh, my line quality is probably still really bad, but I actually look at my more recent stuff, and I've gotten much better at it, and drastically, very noticeably. I think it's because I'm spending more time on it, actually, because originally I was just doing a page every week to kind of rush it out. But my whole work ethic about getting stuff done has become more methodical over the years. So it's been the quality's increased a lot, I think.
Who are some of your artistic? Who do you look up to artistically? I mean,
oh my god! I made a big post about this in my book.
Besides Jeff Darrow.
Well, yeah, Jeff Darrow, of course. I think I read Hard Boiled. Have you read that comic?
Oh yeah. No, I'm a gigantic Jeff Darrow fan.
Hard Boiled is probably one of my favorite comics ever.
Yeah. No, he's spectacular. It just did like a 170-page fight scene with zombies.
That's Shaolin Cowboy.
Yeah. That's he finally had to stop drawing the fight scene.
I couldn't get into Shaolin Cowboy as much. Because that's what it is. It's 170 pages fight scene.
Yep.
But Hard Boiled, when I first saw that comic, I first read it. It just blew my mind right out of the back of my skull. I was just like, oh my god, this is insane.
That was the slowest I've ever read a comic, because you could spend hours on each page looking at stuff.
Yeah, the story's totally incidental. So there's sort of a story there, but it's just the art and the fullness of it and the whole aesthetic is so amazingly good. And then through Mr. Joe Darrow as my gateway drug, I got into Mabius.
Yes.
And all his stuff and all his Silver Surfer stuff and all his metal hurlant crap and all that. And then I got through looking into Mr. Mobius into a lot more recent heavy metal stuff, and a lot of it's quite bad, a lot of it's quite good. And I got the French comic scene. I love the fucking French comic scene. It's fantastic. Can I curse on this podcast and everything?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh yeah, it's amazing. I love French fantasy comics. Inkle is really good.
Oh, yeah.
Meta Barons is one of my favorite comics. Um, well, I
It's
haven't read it.
it's interesting how the French treat comics, because Japanese you can get comics for any age. There's grandma
Yeah,
comics and stuff like that, but French comics are very I don't want to say mature, grown up, I guess. They're aimed. They're not aimed at the 18 to 35. It's more 25 to 65, range. And
right.
yeah, they're spectacular.
They're far more story focused, and they're far more focused on being creations of fantasy and imagination, I guess,
Yeah.
than they are on appealing to an audience, I suppose. Like at least the stuff that I've read, maybe I'm completely wrong, but you have absolutely nutso stuff that just would never pass in the American comics market, I think, or get a pass as widely as it does in France, I suppose. I also say, what's another one I really liked? I read a ton of Requiem Chevalier Vampire. Requiem Vampire Knight. Have you read Requiem Vampire Knight?
No.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
god! We're gonna link you to Requiem Vampire Knight right now. That's probably my other huge influence. Jesus, I'm really bad at it. It is okay. So it's a heavy metal comic.
Okay.
Originally, I think, and it's got the most ridiculous art in the universe. It's the most gothic thing I've ever. I mean, it's like boobies and Satan, and it takes place in
I
hell.
found it.
It's so good. I'll give you the brief premise. The brief premise is a Nazi dies,
Okay.
but he's kind of like a repentant Nazi, and he has this Jewish girlfriend that got killed and stuff, and he goes to hell, but it turns out in hell you're actually rewarded for how evil you are. So if you reincarnate as a monster. So if you're only a little bit evil, you reincarnate as like a zombie or something, and different people with different sins reincarnate as different stuff, like Spanish priests reincarnate as werewolves and stuff. But if you're super evil, if you're a vampire, if you're a Nazi, you reincarnate as a vampire, and vampires are like the top dogs. And it's this place called like what's the name of it? Anyway, it's hell, and time flows backwards, so people age in reverse. And there's this sort of top cast of vampires, and he's like hanging out, learning how to be a vampire, but he's got to find his dead Jewish girlfriends and all this crap, and it's just this insane gothic universe with this absolutely ridiculous art.
Oh, that's fun.
Every page is
so
unbelievable.
Fun.
I mean,
All right.
here, I'll link you another one right here. There's another. This is just a representative of the art in this comic.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It's fantastic. I would say it's actually a hugely influential on my own comic. I would say.
All right.
The
Well,
comics, not quite as gothic. But...
I just ordered it on Amazon. There you go.
Yes. Good man. Oh, it's so
right
good.
there.
It's very much in a boobs and violence sort of thing, but it's spectacular.
It's fun. It's just fun.
It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, lot of that stuff. Yeah. Also, I have to say, I have to give huge credit to James Stokoe and Sheldon Vella. Those two guys. Mr. Sheldon did some Deadpool stuff a while back. I think that's what and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think he had run for.
Yeah,
And
I think so.
some of Marvel stuff. He's quite a talented guy. He did a comic called Supertron. Have you read Supertron?
I have now.
No one will ever read Supertron again, I think, because it was on Zuda, back when Zuda went under, and as a consequence, I don't think he can post it anywhere now or like continue the story because it's owned by DC. But it was a sort of robot coming of age comic,
Oh,
and
that's
it was
pretty.
fantastic. It was really good.
That's really good.
Yeah, Supertron was great, man.
Are you reading any current mainstream comics?
No,
DC,
I've been out of the
Marvel?
loop. I've been out of the loop. I've been in Japan for 2 years. I haven't really got my hands on it. So it's been a bit tough to get into it. I don't. It's funny because I do read comics quite a bit, but I don't really keep track of most of the stuff that's. I'm not like a regular comics guy. I sort of I make them. I don't really read them as much. When I which is kind of a weird thing to say, but I wish I read more, but I'm not into as many of. I'm not into like not hooked into the whole thing, of stuff coming out. I guess when I was back in the States, I made a point. I read a bit of Saga. So Saga was quite.
Oh
good.
God, I just read issues 22 through 30 last night. I'm all caught up. So
good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, I've only read the first trade. I think been up to that. I was impressed by it.
As I mentioned, my kids are older because I'm older. My younger son is obsessed with Saga, just completely obsessed. Like I'll tell people that my son's reading it, and they're like, "There's boobs in it, dude." I'm like, "It's cool." But it's not a toddler.
Yeah, no shit.
It's good. It's good. I did cringe at the backgrounds in it. That's the one thing. That's the problem I have.
Yes, the drastic lack of detailed. It's like sometimes it's like they just forget to draw anything in the background.
I think it's sort of intentional though. I mean, it's kind of weird. It's a fantasy comic. It's very not fantasy, and it's not trying to, it's a fantasy comic without the emphasis on the world. Like, well, there is an emphasis on the world though, but it's not trying to be like a, hey, look at this fantasy world, it's so weird and unique and high fantasy and stuff. It's like people wearing blue jeans and walking around,
I forget her name, the artist, but you gotta figure out what you can do to get your book out monthly. So whatever she had to drop out, it's a she, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's finding the middle ground for art and speed. I'm sure it's rough. I've never had to do that.
Right.
I've avoided just imagine having to pump out 22 pages and a cover every month. And be motivated about it too.
I feel you, absolutely. I get you. I have the luxury of not working on that schedule, so I mean, I'm doing 4, and that's sort of alright. I can't, I'm gonna try and do 8 when I get to Portland. That's gonna be mine.
If you were to do like let's say one of the bigger companies went to you and said, hey, you get to do one of our characters. Do you have any a character that you'd be like, heck yeah, let me do whoever?
So like
your monthly dream book from Marvel DC.
Man, I'm always I never really thought about that before because I've always been about just making my own stuff as a single creator kind of guy, which is why
bringing the hard-hitting questions over here. Boom, what?
I know. I'm vaguely interested in image and stuff, but I think image is really great because image is the sort of it's gained its reputation from putting out titles like Saga and stuff that are like kind of weird and unique, and they're not sort of just and not that there's anything wrong with mainstream. I'm not one of those guys who's like, oh man, indie, the cutting edge is where it's at, man. Get out of here with the superhero crap. I think superhero comics.
I'm old enough to. I was 15 when Image started, and so I read Spawn and Savage Dragon and the Max when they came out. And I still read Savage Dragon, and I still read.
Yeah. Because Image very much started as a superhero, very 90s, super 80s, 90s superhero.
Young blood.
Yeah.
Prophet.
Prophet, exactly. Today it's really gone in that direction of giving people a platform to put out their own weird stuff. So, and I think that's it's fantastic.
It's the go-to for creator-owned right now.
That's my sort of aspiration. If I was going to do a Marvel DC character, though, man, who do I do?
I mean, I do a Hellblazer book. I would love to do Hellblazer.
I do Superman.
Dope.
Absolutely.
I can see you drawing them all skinny and dangly and stuff.
I actually love stories when you have huge power disparities between characters. Because then a story becomes not about how powerful, how good somebody is at doing something, but it's about implication. That's way more interesting.
Yes.
Have you read One Punch Man? One Punch Man. Have you heard of One Punch Man?
No.
Oh my god. Okay. One Punch Man is awesome.
Oh no, I've heard of this. Yeah.
In Japanese, it's called One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And got muted a second. Sorry. One Punch Man. Anyway, okay. Here's the premise of One Punch Man. There's a superhero. His name is Saitama, and he can beat any villain with one punch. And he does. every single villain that comes down, it's sort of a Dragon Ball Z martial arts comic style thing where you've got like the dragon, like the Goku kind of guy. He comes down and he's, I will destroy the Earth, and everyone around it starts wrecking shit, and then Saitama shows up and just kills him instantly, right? And you think this would get old, right? Because it happens literally every time. I'm sorry, that most recently there's a guy that Saitama, it takes him 3 punches to kill him.
Most epic battle ever.
Yeah. But it's not about that. It's about how this guy, because he's the most powerful superhero ever, and he can beat everyone in a single punch, he gets bored as hell. He has no meaning to his life. And because he can beat everyone, with 1 punch, everyone thinks he's a fake. They don't think he's actually this powerful. He only because he can only beat the guy with a punch, he can't do things like prevent collateral damage. Like he punches a meteorite, and the bits of the meteorite fall and break, huge parts of the city. And no one's saying like, oh my god, this guy saved us from a meteorite. They're like, why couldn't he stop all this other crap from happening, all these people from dying from this meteorite fall? And they start blaming him. And then there's this other thing where this villain shows up and he's really powerful and he beats the shit out of several really powerful superheroes. And then Saitama shows up and instantly beats him, right? But then everyone's like, oh, that guy must have been weakened from fighting all these other superheroes. And how can we beat all those other superheroes? They're probably pieces of shit. What are we paying the whole Hero Association for? And there's all this implication about his power. It's not about how powerful he is. It's not this power level 9,000 kind of thing. It's like. So anyway, that's why I do Superman. I think that's a really interesting concept. Having someone who's that powerful and sort of the most ridiculous dude in the universe. I mean, people like to say Superman is boring because he can basically beat anything, right? But if you make it a story about him beating things, I think it's quite boring. But if you make it about the implications of that, I think it's quite interesting.
Kevin Smith wrote a movie script about Superman, and the story starts off with Brainiac erasing everyone's memory of Superman, including Clark Kent. So that's how the movie starts off.
Nice.
So it's an origin story just because nobody remembers who he is. So, yeah. But obviously that wasn't made.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. Yeah, if you make comics about beating a bad guy and how they're going to beat this bad guy and stuff, it's not that interesting to me. Which is why I guess I don't read a lot of superhero comics. I can't get into them for that reason, I suppose. I like them. I've read I've read very little, but the stuff I've read, I've been, this is solid. This is good stuff. Partly because of the continuity thing. When you're reading a comic and then.
They try to fix it, but they don't.
Yeah, they don't at all.
Someone shows up, and then it's like, oh, check out Super Spider-Man number 53 for the introduction of this guy, and I'm going, oh my god, I don't have time to read this, That's one of my problems with it. And then the second problem is that a lot of the Marvel DC daily stuff is all about, here's a threat, here's a big threat, and here's what's going on, and here's how they overcome it with the power of whatever. But I think there's a lot of focus on that, not as much focus on why superheroes are interesting.
I don't like the big crossover storylines and stuff like that. I stick to more Daredevil type stuff where.
Yeah. It seems quite. I don't know. It seems quite exploitative to me. I mean, I don't know. That's just sort of how I feel about it. So I mean, that's why I've never been able to get into it. Not to ever shit anyone who's interested or read a lot of superhero comics. 'Cause, like I said, I find them interesting. I'd like to get into them. I've been recommended a bunch. I found the barrier to entry a little high for me.
Yeah, it's.
Runaways.
Yeah, Runaways. For sure.
Yeah, I hear. I've been recommended it. Yeah.
Yes,
the first
Runaways
3 volumes.
Yes, at least. Those are fantastic.
Isn't there a new Runaways that's horrible though? Don't read that one. It's not horrible, or there isn't a new Runaways.
I'll get into it. You will definitely be not the first people who recommended it to me. I'm quite a. I don't know. I guess I'm quite weird. I might be quite. I don't know how many people are out there who are comic creators who haven't really been into a lot of. Who don't really read a lot of comics or mainstream comics.
Oh, there's a lot. I've
talked
to quite a bit of them.
Good to know. I'm not like
there's quite a few really cool comic book artists and stuff that I've talked to, and I just felt really nerdy. Like, oh my gosh, did you read Spider-Man last week? And they're like, oh, well, I was at a dance club all night, so no.
Oh,
No, never mind. My bad.
I'm not like that. Don't worry. Like, did you read Spider-Man last week? Well, no, I was watching reruns of samurai movies in my apartment in my underwear. Don't worry about me.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Church, take over.
Okay. Well, anyway, so you stick with pretty much strictly digital, not so much traditional.
I haven't sketched with a pencil. I think maybe in 2 years or so. Seriously, which is quite weird.
And I'm the complete opposite. I'm almost exclusively traditional.
You Luddite.
I know. And then I have fun with my watercolors, and everybody's like,
yeah.
I'm like, ha!
I have mad respect for people that can do that. Yeah. I can't. I'm all digital stuff. I have no talent whatsoever in traditional
Oh,
media.
baloney. You've got plenty of talent. You just haven't played with it enough, you know?
Well,
it's just practice. Honestly, it is. It's just practice in the end.
Yeah, it is. It's true. Now,
I'm just not very good with the digital yet, just because I don't think I'm very comfortable with it yet. I've done traditional for so long that I haven't transitioned over to digital yet, and I finally got a half-decent copy of Manga Studio recently.
Oh, you got that all working and everything now?
Yes, I actually got I went ahead and bought the older edition.
Mm-hmm.
There you are.
Number 4. I had bought number 5 on a flash sale, and it's not compatible with Windows 7.
Oh boy.
Come to find out. So it kept crashing on me. So I finally busted out the old credit card there, and they had another flash sale on 4, and I got it for like $15.
Yeah, 5EX was just on sale for like $15 recently. It was insane. And so you need to try it out. I mean, have you messed around with it since your parents got it for you?
Nah, nope. Haven't touched it.
Lock yourself in a room and give yourself like 8 hours of just sketching with it. Don't worry about anything else. You know.
The pen tools are better. It runs better on whatever you want. I mean, my kid's laptop would run it well. It's a good program.
I'm a total idiot when it comes to anything. I know that Photoshop has layers. It's got layers. It's got some okay sort of brush things. It's got opacity. It's good for me. I'm not a tools of the trade guy at all. I'm an idiot about all that stuff, and I have huge respect for people who are. It's like my friend who recommended me all these nib pens. She's an amazing inker. She just did some guest art for my comic actually 2 weeks ago. Emily Smith, super cool. And I'm always astounded by people who can do that, because they're sitting there and they show me this thing and it's real. I can touch it and I'm like, oh my god, look at all this inking, it's amazing. I'm not one of those people. I just sort of I sort of vomit digitally on a page and it comes out looking nice sometimes.
Have you ever seen any of Jeff Darrow's original art?
No, I have not.
There was a comic book art show here in LA 5 or 6 years ago, and they had about eight of his pages, and they are gigantic. Like I thought it was 11 by 17. No, it's like 17 by 24.
That's right. They do huge pages. I have no idea how they get those in the get those scanned and stuff. Honestly,
large scanner. Large scale scanner.
And in Photoshop, there's also auto align, so you can scan it in parts, and then hit the auto align button, and it lines it all up for you.
Huh. I'll say another huge comic influence of mine I didn't actually mention was James Stoker, of course. And that guy works massive, unbelievably massive. And he has a weird grip. Have you seen this guy draw?
No.
He has like a claw grip. He grips it like in his fist. It's the weirdest thing in the universe. So I'll say actually that's how I sort of got into comics. Actually, was through the same way that Mr. James did, and Sheldon Vella, which was through online character battling in websites for that, like Comic Creator. So Enter the Void was the big one. I was back on there from when I was like 16 or 17, and that's how I got into doing comics in the first place. And when I saw James had work on there a long time ago, and he was really popular on the site. And when I saw his stuff, I was really inspired to kick.
What site was this?
Enter Void. It's a sort of comic battling site. You can make a character and you sort of pit your character against another character and you draw comics about it. And I sort of did that quite a bit. It was enjoyable, and it got me into comics in a big way.
I don't mean to bring up age stuff, but how old are you?
I'm 25.
25. You're a little baby.
Yeah, little baby.
I come from a print comic background, mini comics or whatever, and I found web comics maybe I want to say 10 years ago, maybe 12, with James Kachalka was the first that I found, and that kind of branched me out to get stuff online.
It was a great time for webcomics, I would say.
Yeah, it was. Right now or back then? What are you saying?
Oh, right now.
Yeah, right now it's insane.
It's insane.
It's beautiful. In my opinion, it's a beautiful mess. I love it.
All the I don't know if this is derogatory. All the Tumblr brats are starting to draw whatever they want, and they're so talented, and I get so pissed off when I see that they're 18, 16 years old.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I'm only 25, and I get kind of when I see people. Man, what's her name? Miss. I know her name in Tumblr is Ginger Haze. I've got her name. She's Nimona. You know Nimona?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nimona's great, and she's 23, I think, and that got published, and I think that's going to be they're making an animated series out of it now.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being in LA, I hang out with a couple animation people, and the group that they hang out with is just all these 16-year-old kids that I get pissed off at. There's no way that you could be so talented and so young. And they just it takes all day long just making beauty.
It's a fantastic time for comics. It's a great time for comics in general. I mean, comics are doing.
Noelle Stevenson.
There you are, Noelle Stevenson. Yes. Very jealous and very proud of that lady.
Yes.
Very much so. There. I'm a very firm believer in creation.
Oh no, yeah, I know this girl. She just did some interview somewhere.
She did. I guess if there's a takeaway to anything, for anyone who's watching this or interested in watching this, I really want to. I have a message. Can I say my message?
Please do.
Of course.
This is my mantra. It's my big thing I want to push to people, and it's related to what we're talking about. It's not just come out of the blue. You can do what you want to do today. We have this magical thing called the internet, and you have this magical programs that are usually available to you, and you have this magical thing called WordPress. We can very easily make a website, and web hosting is very easy to get. You can also make a webcomic. It's very, very easy. The barrier to entry is super low. Anyone can get into it, and there's so many people I know, so many Tumblr people and other artist people who are very much about drawing lots of art and fan art and other stuff, and draw concepts for their big webcomic idea and stuff. They never really get onto it. They never get down to the business of making it. And there's lots of people who are also thinking, oh, I'm not talented enough. Oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. You measure yourself against people constantly. And there's like people who are, how are those little brats you're talking about? They're 16,
yes.
17, and you know they're talented, right? You know they're talented, but they're not. They're just drawing stuff and thinking, oh, I can't make my thing. You can. Just have to do it. If you want to do it, do it.
Even if it's bad, it's still doing something.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. The internet will be your judge. You will improve. and you'll get better. But make a thing. Make a thing. Do it every day. Get in the schedule. It's not easy to do. The creation is a thing that you have to be disciplined about. And I think a lot of people that's a very, very high barrier to entry. But you can do it. You can do it. There's no other traditional barrier of there being print media that has to vet your work. You have to get in. You have to, put this thing in. You've got to draw some Spider-Man for a bit, and you got to do that. You don't have to do that anymore. That's gone. That's a very high barrier. Now, the only barrier you have is the ability to produce work consistently. So you can do it. You can make it. You can get out there.
Did you see that documentary that just came out, the stripped one, about print the comic strip people?
No.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, yeah.
Is it good?
It's fantastic.
Very good. They touch on what you just said, like Kate Beaton and that group of people. They all make appearances on it, and they talk about, we don't need to go through the newspapers anymore. We have the
gatekeepers. We don't have any gatekeepers now. We don't need them.
No, you don't need them. You just need to have a work of equality, and you need to be consistent about it. I'll tell you,
even if you don't, your art is not completely up to par, but you have something of a decent story there, do it.
Yeah.
Even if your art's not up to par, even if your story's not up to par, just do it, because you'll get better. You get better.
Yeah, it's all a learning process, and heck, you can even use Tumblr as your first website to post
Absolutely.
to
And it's so easy
where you're learning and just.
It's very easy to promote your stuff nowadays. It's very easy to get it out there. It's easy to become popular, because of the nature of social media. A lot of people hold back from that. A lot of people don't get into the process of creation and becoming disciplined and getting a work schedule and stuff. It's very difficult. I understand that that's a barrier to entry for a lot of people, but once you can overcome that, there is literally there's nothing preventing you from doing it. I'll say another thing. Another big comic influence of mine, funnily enough, is a comic called Hitman for Destiny. Have you heard of this?
Googling it right now.
It's got awful art. It's MS Paint quality, spectacularly bad art, but it's a very well written comic.
This is amazing.
It's really good, and he did another one called Accidental Space Spy, which is quite good as well. It's not quite as good as the original, but it's bizarre. It's like this weird farcical story. But it's got like a small readership. You've got people who follow it, and it's good stuff. And it's been influential on me and many other people, I'm sure.
All right, I got something. This is not influential to me whatsoever, but the story is amazing on it. I'm gonna link it over here. It is a comic by a dude named Michael Payne.
Nice.
And he was in the Daily Grind Iron Man Challenge, which was a comic book. It's like a challenge. Everyone put in $20 and get to make a comic Monday through Friday. And as soon as there was judges, and as soon as you messed up, you were out.
Nice.
I was in it. I think I made it up to it started off with like 50. I made it to the final 8, but then I missed actually a January 1st update.
Ah, damn.
Due to January 1st. But this comic is spectacular, and he has like 3,000 pages already done on it.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's all drawn in MS Paint also, and typed in MS Paint also. But he does it every single, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And he's doing something.
Just create things. That's what it's all about, That's the value in it, and then it feeds itself. And you get really cool ideas out of this weird ferment of comics and awesome stuff that's online, and it keeps rolling like a big weird snowball. I love that. And then you do get people who get the stuff published, who get the stuff made into animated series, who have influence on other stuff. It just happens. Big thing in Japan and Korea right now is webcomics are being made into TV shows.
Like live action?
Yeah, live action. Yeah, Korea.
Awesome.
There are several movies based on webcomics, and there are three or four like popular TV shows over there. That, if I'm not mistaken, I can't name any off the top of my head. It's like anecdotal, but that are based on webcomics originally.
What are you going to miss most about Japan?
Food. Food is really good. People are awesome. Climate is not great, but it's beautiful in spring. It's spectacular. It's gorgeous. Spectacular country. I'm gonna miss it a lot. It's been my home for the last 2 years. You know, like moving your home is always difficult.
Yeah.
Especially when it's another country, another culture. You know, Japan is so drastically different culturally from anywhere else you're gonna visit in this side of Asia, I think.
Why did you decide to go there anyway?
I wanted to teach abroad. I originally thought I was going to do the diplomatic service, go be an ambassador. And the only way you do that is by joining the military, doing grad school, or doing the Peace Corps. And I wasn't really into any of those options, especially the military. So I thought I'd travel and teach. And so I decided, I was like, okay, I'll travel and teach. Now I spoke some Chinese at the time, and I'd already been to Shanghai for about 10 weeks in university, studying in Shanghai, which was great. So I thought, oh, I'll do China. So I applied to a few Chinese jobs, but I didn't really get anything. And then there was lots of sketchy jobs out there. So
Yeah, I know. It's
Korea. I thought Korea maybe, you know. But then, but Japan of course has the JET program, which is a ancient and well-respected institution. I shouldn't say ancient. It's only from the 1987 or something. But it's a government program, so it's very well vetted, and it's got a support network and everything. So I thought, I'll apply to that. And I actually got waitlisted originally, but I was called in 2 years ago in June actually to come over here. So I have been teaching here for about 2 years. It's been overwhelmingly the best experience of my life so far. Easily.
Cool. Do you know who Ryan Estrada is, the webcomic artist?
What's the webcomic name?
RyanEstrada.com. He has so many different projects going on. He's been in Korea. He did same type of thing. He went to Korea to teach English. Yeah. And he's done comics about all his exploits and doing stuff like this.
And of course, Mary Cagle is over here doing chat right now, and she's got like 3 comic projects going on or something too, which is crazy. That woman is a machine. She's doing her own thing in QB Blitz, and she's doing a webcomic, I believe.
Ryan is a machine also. He's one of those dudes that does like 178-hour comics where he draws comics for like a week straight.
I've heard of him before. Ryan Estrada.
Artist adventurer.
That sounds about right. Oh damn, yeah. Oh, he's done like Iron Circus stuff.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He slept on my couch a couple times.
Nice, excellent.
One of the joys of having of living in LA and having a house in San Diego.
Oh, he's in Flight. That's cool. What a good man.
He's a good person too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's my kind of comics DNA. I like that stuff.
He doesn't drink, but he eats a lot.
I also mentioned I love anthologies. I think anthologies are fantastic.
Yeah. He puts them together, publishes them. He does stuff for people. I've done a couple anthologies, like 8-10 years ago or whatever, and he did stuff for them. I
gotta bug you about this. How is Island? Because I haven't got my hands on it yet. I've got to read it.
Oh, you know what? Solid B+. My kid, there's no way my son would read it at all. He would get 2 pages into it and just set it to the side.
Oh.
But it's aimed at us.
Right.
It's not. There's a very tight niche that it's aimed at.
Yeah. Knowing Brandon, I would expect.
I wish it's rated M, but it could have. It's rated M, but it's not M. Kinda. I don't know. There's like a nipple.
Yeah.
It could have either gone more M, or been more pop, and that's my I wish it was more pop so it would do better.
Right.
Yeah. I loved it. I read it twice.
It seems like up my alley. I'm going to try and get my hands on a copy or 2 when I get back.
I could see where they're going. They're going for like an American heavy metal.
He's got a ton of stuff lined up for it. I've seen a lot of previews. So
yeah, Ben Sears is going to be in it. I love Ben Sears. Ben Sears is awesome.
Yeah.
There's a couple stories that I'm looking forward to, but good luck. That's all I got to say. I'll keep pushing it because I want it to succeed, Everyone in it is awesome. All the stories are awesome, but it's not aimed at a wide array of people.
Right, right. It doesn't have that pop appeal, I guess. That is important.
But it's
Yeah.
like all the music I listen to, all the movies I watch. So.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can't believe Hannibal got canceled.
Do you know what? You and like 4 people on my Facebook feed linked to the same article when that happened. I haven't even watched Hannibal yet. I should check it out.
Oh my god, I love it. I was like, oh, it's delicious and it's so.
I'm not. I say again, I'm not a huge consumer of media, so it's weird for me to. Should I get into that show? Is that a thing I should do?
Did you like any of the Hannibal movie, like Red Dragon or
Nah, I haven't
Silence
watched
of the
much of it,
Lambs?
Did like Silence of the Lambs. Red Dragon I hear is pretty good.
Then I think you would like it. If you liked Red Dragon, I think you'd like it.
It's weird as well. Like there's this weird syndrome. I don't know if you guys have this. You guys both make comics, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's strange for me because a lot of times it's weird. Like if I'm been drawing a lot, if I'm been really producing a lot of work, I can't read comics for a while. I can't get into it.
I go through spells. I'll stop for like 2 to 3 months, but then I'll have a month of just being
Just
balls
consumed.
deep in comics.
Yeah. But I can't do it because I can't get immersed in it. Like.
Does it affect your work? Or
No.
do you just spend too much time analyzing it, or?
No, I kind of analyze it. I can't like get as get my head into it as much when I've been doing my own stuff because I'm just I'm so in that that whole like visual language of comics.
You're in that zone.
Thinking
so
in that
much.
way, and so I'm not thinking about it. I can't just read it. I'm just like, oh, that panel board is kind of weird, like, it's weird as well for me because I know how my comic's gonna go and I'm cranking it out like a page at a time. But it's all still in here. It's kind of floating around, but it's like I'm pushing it out incredibly slowly at this very weird pace. So that's.
Do you have an ending? Do you know where you're going?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
How many more pages do you think you got?
500,
like 20 or 100 or?
500-600 pages.
Oh, whoa, more?
Nice. Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
It's a 5 or 6 book story. It's like it's an epic. I mean. I don't know if I'll be doing it for 5 years. I mean, I may be doing it for 5 more years. If it gets picked up,
amazing.
If it does get picked up by Image, which is my hope, I'll say I have been discussing it with Eric Stephenson currently. But if it does, then I will continue to draw it for like 5 years and get the work out there, get it finished. Hopefully I can get it
pick up the pace if it gets picked up. I mean, will you do multiple pages a week?
Absolutely. My hope is, and I'll say, my hope is over in Portland that if I have to, I'll go and find some sort of menial labor to keep myself supported over there. But
learn how to be a barista. It's Portland.
Yeah, man, exactly. My extreme hope is to get my comic crowdfunded and live like a poor person for about a year while I draw comics.
Actually, let's talk about this. You're setting up a Patreon soon?
I am setting up a Patreon in probably mid-August. It's going to go up, and I'm fairly certain. I'll get some interest from that. It's weird for me to like stake. I'm not like staking my hopes in this because if things don't work out, what I'm going to do is go to grad school and get an education degree and go teach. But I would like to draw full time for a year, so hopefully people can fund that.
I just took a year off and drew for a year straight, and it was 8 months, and it was amazing. It was so great.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now.
But then I ran out of money and I had to go back to work.
I absolutely feel it. If people can fund me through it, I'll continue to do it for 2 years and just make 2 books in the meantime. And that'll be the Patreon. I mean, I think I'm writing an RPG.
Yes.
Yes, I am. But it's been more of a free time kind of thing right now, and that's going to be probably the only other incentive for the thing. I'll just be like, hey, pay me to draw this comic for, regular work hours a week. I'll do it. I'll calculate out the standard page rates. I got paid for my work at Image, and I'll just.
How many pages do you have done right now?
101, 102.
Do you have like book 1 done?
Yes, it's finished.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's totally done.
You mentioned crowdfunded earlier. Are you gonna kickstart a print of that just to?
No, because I might be getting the first book published, so through Image. So I'm not actually gonna crowdfund that.
Okay.
I'm gonna see how that goes with Image, and then if they still want to publish it, then the thing is I'm making it ready for print right now, and that is like pulling nails.
Yeah, you're recoloring those first pages.
I am. I'm touching up and recoloring about 15 pages. I'm about 6-7 in right now. Plus I'm drawing a spread, and I'm also doing an extra page or two at the beginning to make the intro a little more interesting, which is a pain. I'll show you guys actually. I have this open currently in my backgrounds. Let me just give you a link quick. I'll show you what's in the. It's a pain, but I think I'd rather be proud of the work I have and have it be complete than put something out that's unfinished,
Yeah.
And especially because the quality is drastic between the beginning and the end of the book because of the time difference. So I want to make sure it's a little more consistent and color everything. And probably redraw, or not really draw, but kind of redraw. I've been redrawing a bit because some of the lines, some of the stuff in the early pages, like.
Yeah, I need to clean it up. And
I mentioned earlier on, the main thing I noticed is your facial expressions got a lot better.
Yeah, faces and hands are tiny and all this terrible stuff. Oh, it's just
actually, I was going to bring up fingers too.
Fingers,
your fingers changed a lot.
A lot of people I think who check my comic out, like people discuss my comic on internet forums like 4chan and stuff all the time. A lot of people like to shit in it quite a bit, and it's really funny.
4chan.
Well, yeah, no, I value frank input on my comic, and I value criticism a lot because I can't look at my own work anymore. I joke a lot that it's like stuff like I can't quickly evaluate it, so I value people looking at my work and being like, hey, this is wrong, or this is weird, or what. A lot of people are like, oh, your comic is confusing and obtuse, and this guy can't draw hands and stuff. I'm like, okay, you've clearly read the first 10 pages and judged my comic based on that, or you've skimmed through the whole thing. And I also have this complaint that people are like, I don't understand the story and I don't get what's going on. I'm like, I know. I've done an introduction, and now I get to follow and actually understand what the hell's happening. I'm sorry if it's obtuse, but it's kind of like watching The Lord of the Rings and being like, well, this Frodo guy, all he's been doing is hanging out with Shire and walking around in cornfields. Like, what's going on? Here's what I'm working on. Currently.
Fuck yeah.
There's a 2-page spread that will go in the middle of it, which will hopefully give some clearer background to people. I do have problems with people kind of trying to get a grip on what exactly is happening with my comic. I think it's legible to people, it's understandable, but because I've been drawing it and writing it over 2 years, this whole section over 2 years, sometimes it's not exactly clear to people. I think there is a thing in fantastic fiction when you put in people into this fish out of water situation. You either need to have an identifiable protagonist that you can follow easily through everything, or you need to have some grounding as to what's going on. You need to understand the stakes and the reasoning for things, and I think I did a very bad job of that drawing my comic at first, because people just had no clue, well, why are they here? What are they doing? And I went back and read it myself, and I was like, I have no clue what the stakes are, who these people are, what's happening. And I did a bit of rewriting, and it turned out better. And then now I'm actually slapping this page in the middle of everything, and that's going to give a very, very basic overview for people who have no idea what's going on as to what the world is and stuff. And I think I needed that. I think you need a little bit of grounding. I didn't really have that at first, so.
Do you have somebody that you bounce stuff off of? Do you have like somebody that you say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Does it make sense?
Yeah. I do occasionally. I don't really have the luxury of that, unfortunately. The time difference is so weird. I have very few people I'm regularly in contact with. I should get an editor, you know.
Is there any comic book people there that you hung out with over the last 2 years, or is it?
No. There's only 16 foreigners who live in my town. Kind of 80,000. I know all of them.
They're my best friends.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like I said, I'm cracking out a story, but I'm cracking it out a page a week over 2 years, and so I know these people have questions about stuff. I know it will get resolved. I know people will understand and be hooked into this, and the characters will be actual characters and have character interaction and stuff, and all this will happen because we've basically just gone through an introduction. But it's coming very slowly, you know. It's hard. I think it's hard for people to read the comic in a standing form and be like, I want to know more about this person and what's going on with them. And I'm like, well, we haven't really met them yet.
You do a very good American voice, by the way.
Oh, do I? Oh, thank you.
I want to know more about that.
Hey, give me more. Tell me more.
Tell me more.
Like I've got, I don't really have the luxury of a preset setting. The problem with doing a setting that's big and weird is you have to like avoid expositing to people, because if you exposit, it's just gonna get boring, you know. You're like,
yeah.
I had a good analogy thrown at me once. Someone said, it's like there's this thing in world building where you need to have mountains, and the meaning of that is that you have Frodo hanging out with like Bilbo on his quest for the dwarves, and you meet the dwarves, and you know about Frodo and stuff, you know about Bilbo. There's always mountains though in the distance, and they're there, and they exist. We're never going to see the mountains, but technically you could go there, and hang out and do all the things and meet the dragons that live there and stuff. And maybe we hear about the dragons, but we're never actually going to see them. And like having that all set up is, and trying to balance that between how much do I go into what lives in those mountains as opposed to what's actually going on with the characters is kind of a struggle for me. But I think I'm getting this sorted out.
Mountains are an easy background too.
They are, yeah. There's clouds and everything in my comic. If I need to like fill something, I just put some dust clouds in there.
I loved Rob Liefeld's fog, so he didn't have to draw feet.
Yeah,
just draw fog. Yes. So good.
That's right, man. Yeah, I mean, I've got this whole, like mythology and this whole like universe set up, and I could expose it at people at it, for hours and hours, but no one wants to hear about that because stories are fundamentally about characters doing things, not about the worlds. I mean, you could say like the world is a character, but there are comics that work that way. Like anthology comics and things like kind of old school fantasy, like Conan and stuff. I quite like Prophet because Prophet is like the world is a character. The universe, this whole weird thing is a character. There are characters in Prophet, but not that interesting. It's like they're clones. They're cool.
I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. If you guys cannot tell anybody, that'd be cool.
All right, go on.
I read the first 3 issues of Prophet, loved it, and didn't know it was based off of the original Prophet.
Right. well, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know, would you?
No.
Yeah. I mean, who cares?
It's too good.
It's compelling. It's compelling enough by itself. You don't have to know who the hell Diehard is. I don't know who Diehard is. I know he's a cyborg. And
he's a cyborg assassin. That was in Young Blood.
Yeah, he's a cyborg assassin. He's kind of very old, and he hangs out with aliens and stuff, and he's super. That's the whole thing. That's cool. I like that concept. Yeah. I like the world around him. I think that's fantastic, and I'll gladly read more Prophet comics about Die Hard. But I don't really know him as a character. I don't know his.
Did you? There's a really good other comic book podcast called Ink Studs, and they did Brandon Graham is one of the people on it.
I see.
It's one of his. It's him and. Fuck, now I forget the other guy's name. Now I'm going to get yelled at. They did an entire episode on Prophet. It was spectacular, and it was awkward for them because Brennan is one of the co-hosts.
Right, right.
They brought on the colorist. You weren't there. I'm sorry. Unless you were. I don't remember you being there. But they brought on Simon and Joseph Bergen, the colorist, and the letter that I mentioned earlier.
Awesome.
It's a really good episode. Ink Studs.
That's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy a lot. Is immersive, rich. It's like what's it, I was talking about it earlier. Oh my god, my brain is falling apart now. Too much coffee. Hard boiled. Hard boiled is fantastic.
It's the entire world.
You know, and you don't give a shit about Nixon. You're like, Nixon, you're a cyborg. You're killing lots of people. I don't care. Watch you kill the people. This is awesome. You know, there's no real. There's a kind of a story there, but it's more of a feeling. It's more of a mood. It's more of an atmosphere. It's a lot of old French comics too. Requiem Vampire Night. There's a vampire guy in it, and he goes through, and we kind of care about his struggle, sort of, but mostly we're there for the tits and the dragons and the monsters and the vampires.
Hardboiled, I was there for the car crashes.
The car crashes.
They're amazing.
Unbelievable car crashes. The robots. You're like, what's this?
Engine
So
shooting
cool.
out.
Oh, there's a whole thing. There's a whole section of that. There's a whole section of comics art, which is all about that and about the art. And comics as a craft and as an art piece, and I love that. I love that stuff. But I'm also trying to I'm trying to draw a webcomic, and I don't think webcomics work particularly well in that regard. I think they need to be story or character driven. And so I've kind of struggled with that and trying to get an actual character and story into my. There is one, but I've been a little slow coming to it. I think people are a little satisfied with that. I want to see more of a story in there. But it's hard to draw, basic character interaction. I have to keep drawing all these gods and monsters and stuff in the background. I can't have a conversation, Oh, hello, Alison. How are you? I'm good. Let's talk about ourselves for a bit. But then, I have to do that. But then when I'm drawing it, I have to draw some god fighting another guy, and there's some other dude.
Oh man! Just recently, you drew like the spokes on a tire, and it was a human. It was like humans or demons or something in the spokes.
The Skelecycle.
Oh my gosh, that was so amazing! I like that a lot. I haven't got there story-wise yet, but I was looking at some of your current stuff, and that gave me a little boner.
How long did it take for you writing this before you even started drawing it?
So I'll be honest with you. I had a concept, which was a girl meets. I had this concept forever. It's just one of my comic ideas. I had to bang it around my head. I have a billion of them. I've lots of them now. When you draw a big, long-standing work, you actually start to think of other ideas you'd rather be doing. So, for example, I have like a mecha story I want to do. I have a steampunk unification of Japan story that I want to do really badly. I have a weird genetic cloning idea story that I want to do. If I ever do Island, I'm going to do that one. But I had one of these ideas back in the day, which was a girl is just kind of a regular ass girl, and then she has this interdimensional warrior run into her and give her this key, and that was the whole idea. And for the first 5 or 6 pages of Kill 6 Billion Demons, where the king shows up and gives her the key and stuff. That was literally all I knew about the story. I knew nothing else. Originally, I was going to go very much more of a MS Paint Adventures sort of user-directed thing, but right now I'm using that mostly to fill out background characters and to fill in extra little plot details that I want to put in there and stuff. And that was it. But then I actually ended up writing this whole story. I have a notebook. It's got all the story in there. And the arc of it will become fairly clear. I mean, I think the main arc is already pretty clear. But there's little interior arcs in it which have all sort of thought out. And I don't really write page to page. I more write here are the scenes that have to happen. Here's the order they're happening, and what I'm going to do about it. So I know exactly where it's going,
So you write yourself a little bit of a synopsis, basically, and then you're going, okay, this goes to here, this goes to here, this goes to here.
So right now we're with Alison in the Void, and she's getting a drink in the Void, and then she's hanging out at this bar, and then the next page she's going to meet Sio, and her and Sio actually introduce each other, and then they're going to chat, and then Alison's going to get in a drinking contest, and there's going to be probably a bar fight, and then they're going to fly to this floating citadel that's owned by one of the sort of evil kings of this world, and then Allison's gonna meet this evil king, and they're gonna hang out. That's the basic synopsis. So I've spoiled you a little bit there, if you can remember everything. But
do you how far ahead script wise do you do? I mean, it's just you draw. Do you do any scripting at all, or?
I don't script my pages. I thumb them, and then I.
How far ahead do you thumb them?
Like 2 or 3 pages ahead.
That's awesome. Good job.
Yeah, that's more or less what I do. I like to be flexible with it, you know. Like, I do have things that I know I need to put in to set up things later, which is important for writing, right? You have to have things set up. One of my huge pet peeves is when I read fiction or any work of fiction, movies, comics, TV, anything, and something just comes in and you're like, where did that come from? How is this set up? What's the function of this? You know, like one of the reasons I think Mad Max was one of the greatest movies made in the last like decade.
Well, no, it was the greatest movies.
Sorry, yeah, thank you. because that was a spectacularly written movie, because everything in that movie served to set up and to progress different parts of it. It was all interlocked. Yeah. That's how good fiction should work, and I don't do that enough in my comic. And I wish I did it. I'm trying to do it a little more now, and I have set up things that will come back and be relevant later. And we're building stuff.
Everything needs a purpose.
It does. Yeah. Absolutely.
I was getting so mad when people were saying that it was just a 2-hour-long car chase. I'm like, no. It was a very well-written movie.
It was. Yes, but I mean, that's not the point of the 2-hour-long car chase. It was a
2-hour-long car chase, but there was other stuff too.
Yeah. It's like saying Die Hard was a movie about Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie. It's my favorite Christmas movie.
It's I mean that's sort of my writing process. I have like a series of, like, I have a scene map, I guess, which I'll do things with, like this whole thing with the angel character, and then they go and see their boss, and their boss is mad at them and kicks them out of their body. That I knew that had to happen like half a year ago when I scened it out. That's what's going on. And we'll properly meet all the characters and stuff coming up in the next like little arc. It'll be an
How many
actual
characters
story.
are going to be in the book?
I
mean, have you reached a peak, or are you like at a very small percentage?
It's a small cast. It's basically Allison and CO and 82, White Chain the angel, and then there's the demiurges, the sort of evil kings who rule everything. They're kind of characters, and then the only other main character is Maya, who we sort of met. Who's the sort of master swordswoman character who's shown up a bit, but she's more relevant to like later in the plot, and she'll probably come along in like a couple of years, and people feel like, I remember that character from 2 years ago.
Do you do much just random sketching of these characters, or is it just?
Yeah, I do a bit. Yeah. The visual design comes from that quite a bit. I didn't know what White Chain looked like under their armor until I was sketching it out like about a month or 2 ago. So I knew they wanted to be more human-like, and originally I was going to give them like long flowing hair, and then I gave them this like atomic afro thing.
Afros are easier to draw.
Yeah, so they've got this atomic afro thing going on.
How about that? Does as the writer and artist, does the story ever change, or the character design ever change, just because?
Absolutely. I think things that will set up things in the story later are interesting, and I include them. But that's why I don't like to rigidly script things.
Okay.
Because sometimes stuff comes up because I'm like, I think it'd be nice to like put this in here. I feel like you run a little danger there of putting too many things in, or putting in things that will become relevant later. I think it hasn't been too bad so far. Everything that's shown up that you might think, why is this in here? What's going on? Has a purpose.
I can definitely tell what you have fun drawing. I know what you like to draw.
Sorry, continue.
Just the story moving pages where you're like, oh yeah, I got to draw this, but then the skeleton hell cycle or whatever it was. I know that you were.
Yeah.
You had your dick in your hand when you drew that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Yes.
I didn't know about that guy's. I knew he had that mount, but I didn't know what it looked like for a while. So, but
You did a good job.
but he's important, you know. Like there's people that show up. There's the big cat demon guy who's the sort of guild master that they meet, and who's like this 50-foot tall cat guy, and then there's like all the warriors that they end up running into in that little fight. It kind of takes the middle chunk of the first book. They're irrelevant. They're relevant. They show up, and they're there for both plot building, world building stuff, and also for a reason. They're going to become important in the comic. I'm not just throwing them in there. I'm not throwing that scene in there just to have a random fight. There's a purpose for it. They will become recurring characters in the comic.
You're not going to pull a Dragon Ball Z and have them standing here for 30 minutes going, ah!
No, because they're the goons in the comic, right? I watch a lot of martial arts movies, if you can't tell. And what I quite like about some martial arts movies, which a lot of Western movies don't do, is that they actually give a lot of personality to the goons that get beat up a lot of the time. I watched this movie called Come Drink With Me. Have you heard of this?
Nope.
Good old school, I think it's Shaw Brothers martial arts movie, and what I quite like about it, it has the most anticlimactic kind of like final sequence ever, but there are these goon characters that, you know, they're just there to get beaten up by the main character, but they all have personalities, and they kind of are characters in the movie. Like they get beaten up, but they don't die, they don't just disappear. They actually come back, and you see them in like bandages and stuff, and they're like hanging out, like, oh, we really got beaten up by that guy. Let's go back out and beat them. Like you get to like know them a bit. And this happens in a lot of like kung fu cinema. Like the sort of random faceless goons are actually have names and stuff. So I wanted to have that in the comic as well.
Oh yeah.
People.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to see a little bit of that development with even smaller characters in a show or a story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's a reason for that stuff, right? I am juggling a lot of things, and I think I did actually set up a lot too soon in my comic and stuff, but it'll become better later. I think people will enjoy my comic more. I think there's especially a syndrome of webcomics where people can complain a lot about not understanding something, not getting something. It's like you've read 3 pages into a 5-page sequence. If you read the 5-page sequence, you're gonna get it. It's gonna become clear. There's context relevancy, you know.
Well, that was like a problem I had. I've tried like online writing groups, and we would post like a chapter or 2 at a time just to kind of, you know, improve my writing a bit and whatnot. And my problem was nobody would wait till the next chapter, which explains some in that first chapter. The build, and everybody's like, well, why does this not make sense? And I'm like, you gotta wait for the next chapter, guys.
Like, in many ways, what I'm doing is I'm making a graphic novel for publication, and I'm making it a page at a time, and I'm posting the pages online so you can kind of look at them in the meantime. That's what I'm doing. It's a motivation mechanism. It's a very good motivation mechanism, actually, because you have, you know, you got like a bunch of people who shout at you if you don't get your page up, so it works. There are comics that are like, you know, weekly things that work very well, like Questionable Content by Jeff Jackson or whatever. That's the thing that updates every week, or every day almost, right?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, and you can read it day by day. And just, you know, that works very well. You know, Penny Arcade or any of the like sort of more like early form webcomics, I think. But there's also this thing of more recently, I think, that people have been getting into more long form webcomic stuff, writing longer stories that aren't as arc-based or are complete. Like Nimona was finished, and it's online. It's just a thing. It's done. You know, you can buy it. It's gonna come out and get produced in other forms now.
One of my favorite current ones is it Witchy?
Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah.
No, Witchy's fun. I don't really follow webcomics. It's not really my. It's more of a Mel thing, not a Jamie thing. And I sat down and read. I got completely caught up with Witchy in one day. I thought it was great.
There's some great stuff. Yeah. There's some really
You want to do
stuff.
the suggested reading, Mel?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get to our suggested reading section. This portion of the podcast, we just kind of pimp what we've been reading lately. Anything we recommend to anybody, anything like that. You want to go ahead and go first, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm just gonna suggest Island this week. I think it's a very good idea. I really enjoyed the comic. I give it a solid B+, as I mentioned earlier. I really wanted to succeed. There's lots of very talented people in there, and they have more very talented people coming up. And I like Brandon very much. I think he's a great editor. I think he's a great writer and artist. And everyone should go. It's $8 for 120 pages.
Oh yeah, it's super good value.
It's great. Everyone should just go pick it up and at least give it a chance. Tell your friends if you don't. It's a good book.
Definitely. Well, I have been getting into there's actually some new magazines out lately. Do you guys know the
I only read Wizard.
do you know Image FX?
No.
I do actually.
Yeah. I usually get that one. It's imported in from the UK. They recently shot off two separate branches of the book itself. So they've got two new magazines basically under Image FX. One's called Comic Artist.
Oh, nice. Hey, wow.
And the other one's called Manga Artist.
There you go.
Oh, it's pronounced manga. I get it now.
And
Nice.
they're actually very, very nice. Overall, they interview some great artists, kind of talk about some of their setup, go over some good basics for anybody just getting into comics or wanting some inspiration. And that's been kind of my thing lately is, well, we were talking about kind of cycles of reading and then taking time to back away and do work.
Mm.
I'm in the reading cycle right now for myself. I try to read a lot and then give myself time to go and create for a while and just, go through that again. And I'm right now in my hardcore reading cycle. And I picked both of these up. They're a little on the pricey side. They're right around $15 to $20 a pop. But I found they were worth it because they came with these lovely 9+ hour discs with at least with the hardcover magazine that give you a bunch of breakdown of some of the images, how to do a cover, word balloon placement, and lettering, and just man, there's all sorts of great stuff in all of these.
Yeah, Image FX is a super solid magazine, actually. I used to read it, flip through it a lot for inspiration.
Oh yeah, I like it a lot. They did an interview in Comic Artist here with Terry Dodson. He's done a lot of work. Let's see. And then Alex Ross, they've got an interview in here with. They've got, oh man. Then the workshops are fun because they really break everything down all the way down to the pencils, and they build it all the way up in stages and show you exactly how they do it. I like it. Like I said, good inspiration.
I actually have one more question. What hardware do you use?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Let's see.
Besides,
I'm a total idiot about this. I'm drawing on a MacBook Pro.
Okay.
And I'm using Photoshop, CS.
Tablet, Cintiq, what do you have?
My tablet is a Wacom, and I can't tell you the model. So I got it ages ago. It's huge. It's monstrous. You see this?
Yeah.
Big bastard.
Yeah.
I should get it replaced soon because the surface is quite torn up.
We can pick mine up.
It is a Intuos 3 graphics tablet. I have no idea. I have no clue.
I'm pretty much an idiot about this too, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, yeah. I got it on discount at a electronics expo about like 5 years ago, I think.
And you still, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, still
Because
using
I
it.
spent way too much on mine, and I hope it lasts me 5 years.
It's a solid one. Wacom's a good brand. And my sister uses a bamboo as well as Wacom ones. She really enjoys that. So.
Yeah,
I'm a cheap bastard. I use a monoprice.
I had a Boston before, which was only like $400, and I killed the center of the screen within a month just from drawing so much on it. So I just had to, I just upped the quality. I could by the end of its life, within a month of me having it, and this is new, I can only draw up on the top left of the screen. So, like, well, maybe it's time to get a higher quality little thing. It was good for 2 books, though. I did 2 full comics for $400. It's, you know.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. But this, I spent $2,000, and I'll hopefully have this for 5 years. And more than 2 books.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Anyways, Abaddon, do you have anything you would recommend for, besides, going ahead and just getting it done? Do you recommend them, for instance, anybody starting out, if they're going to start in with like Photoshop, since they have it all now on the cloud and it's like what, $20, $30 a month to get a subscription to it? Do you recommend them going ahead and getting a subscription to it, or paying the $20, $30 price and going ahead and getting a copy of Manga Studio?
I go with Manga Studio, to be honest. I think you can get everything done. You don't need much complexity. I only have Photoshop because I got it a while back through my family.
It's going back to Manga Studio again. There's the frame layout, the lettering, the perspective tool alone is completely worth it. The perspective tool is insane. And then there's so many like built-in like just tools you can use, like, hey, I need a chair in this scene. All right, here's 10 chairs. Pick one of them, and just trace it. No one will know.
I don't use most of the features in Photoshop. I use layering. I use opacity. I use brushes.
I use frames and penciling and inking.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
I'm not tech savvy at all. I come from a pen and ink background. I treat it like a $2,000 piece of paper. That's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just go ahead and do that. Get a tablet. Tablets, you can get a pretty decent one for cheap. Draw every day. Just draw. Make a thing. Put it online.
Make a thing.
Absolutely. And there's so many people out there who even very, very talented people who don't make a thing because they don't have they have this thing and they have this block in their head. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, no one will read my stuff. Oh, I'm not good enough. No, you're not. You are. There's lots of people out there who are far less talented than you that will get their work published, will get their work out there in print because they put the work in to just get it out and done. That's it. That's all it is. The only difference between you and a professional artist who has published work is the professional artist who has published work has put in hundreds of hours of practice, and they have just continued to make work and get it out there. That's it. That's the only difference.
That's true. All right, here. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up here. We've done quite a bit of bitching and bullshitting here today. And you probably need to go and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I have a whole day ahead of me.
Go get wasted. Woo!
I did it earlier this week with my vice principal. Don't worry.
Brown noser.
Yeah, no, he invited me. Man.
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
you never want to drink with the elderly Japanese men because they will ruin you.
Yeah, no, I heard the same thing about Koreans. That
absolutely.
As hard as they work, they drink twice as much.
They drink twice as hard, and they always go immediately to hard liquor. They'll do beer a little bit, and then immediately they go, hey, Tom-san, how do you feel about shochu? And I go, oh, God, shochu, let's go to the shochu already? All right, fine, that's good. Fine, sure. How about the sake, Tom? Okay, let's do some sake. We've been here for 10 minutes, that's fine, let's move on.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Basically.
Well,
Anyway.
thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. It's
Yeah,
been
cheers.
a
Thanks
blast. And you're
Yeah.
always welcome to come back and hang out.
Yeah, awesome.
And I know I
will-
just found your comic like 2 days ago, but it's very well done. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hopefully, my plan is to try and get all this retroactive stuff done by the middle of the end of August and relaunch my comic and launch my Patreon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Launch your Patreon. Let us know, and we'll link to it.
I will,
Yeah.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
We'll link, we'll pimp. Yes, yes, all the pimpage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, again, thank you so much for showing up. Again, my name is Melony. I've been your host of ornamentalcomic.com. I got Jamie here of jamiedgailey.com, and we've been interviewing Abaddon of kill6billiondemons.com.
Okay.
Lots of .com.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. See you later. Next
Cheers.
time.